I'm Diana Paredes, and I'll sit down because what I'm going to say is not going to take too long, and then we can go into the panel. And wonderful presentations from all of these guys. It's really quite inspiring. And so I'll tell you a bit about myself and I guess my views on the copycat business model conversation. So I'm Diana Paredes. I'm the CEO of Suade, and we're a fintech, regtech company doing really well in London. We've been thriving so much that I haven't had time to do slides, basically. And what was interesting is I met Chris a few weeks ago at an event where I was speaking, and I was telling him I used to study here at Imperial and that I wanted to actually recruit some awesome people from here. So he told me, well, if you're interested in recruiting people, why don't you come to this event and also present a bit? So that's why I'm here partly. So if anyone is interested in joining an awesome fintech company that's changing the world, and is interested in coding as well, come see me at the end, definitely. And then I guess one of the things when we were looking at our business and when we started, I remember that in the accelerator I started my company, and there was a guy who was one of the first 10 people from Rocket Internet. And so he was the CEO of so he has started his own company, and he was a very interesting character, still one of my very good friends in the scene, and I get fantastic advice from him. And he was not the most popular CEO because he was really laser sharp, which is probably what he learned at Rocket Internet. And so he thought that everyone else was just completely crazy and, doing copycat businesses or things that were not very defendable. And so the reason why he really liked what we were doing and he really, we became good friends from that is because he was like, you know what, Diana, I respect you because out of all of these crazy people here, you're the only business that someone cannot copycat. And so that made me think quite a lot because it's true that one of the reasons for our success as a company is that we're doing something that is not very replicable, that has actually very defensible IP, that is actually very good from the product perspective. And so that's definitely allowed us to grow and to take advantage of being in a particular niche for a sector, which we're definitely quite proud of. But then, for example, one of my mentors in the scene, who did a fantastic exit in the multi-hundreds of millions of pounds not too long ago, when he started the business, had actually 50 competitors in the sector, and by the time they finished, they were probably number one in their approach to selling enterprise into the banking industry. And so that makes you think quite a lot, right, about what is really copycat and what is really replicable, and what is defensible or not. And I think that whilst product is definitely very important, there are certain things that Rocket will never be able to reproduce, and that's actually the entrepreneur and the visionary and the passion that really does come from the execution of people who believe that they're changing the world. And so I think that that's definitely something to keep your mind on when you're thinking about starting your own business. If I don't know, many of you maybe are looking at that, but it's definitely important to understand that execution is also quite important, and who you are as an entrepreneur and the people you surround yourself by will also have a lot of value in defending your market and your space and what you're trying to do as a business. So those are my views, I guess, on imitation versus the 0 to 1. And I guess now we can start into the panel conversation and we can answer more questions that way as well. Oh. Yes, sorry. So we're doing regulatory software for banks. Effectively, I used to work in the banking industry for almost a decade, and I took my job and literally decided to build software from it and automating that. And so it's quite interesting when you look at enterprise software in general, and I think there is obviously a lot of space for disruption in that environment, whether it's insurance tech or legal tech or fintech, is that there is a lot of things that are actually still being done very manually in those industries. And so if you come out and build something that can automate what people are literally doing in Excel spreadsheets, you've got a business pretty much. So yeah. Thanks for asking the question. I didn't realize I didn't even say that. But yeah.